No, you're not seeing things, ladies and gentlemen. We were supposed to go live with none other than the standout Xavier Thorne, but maybe we pulled up or shut up and we upgraded because we got a Hall of Famer, a man who I'm not quite sure if he is LA Knight or rather the real deal Anthony Steele, because he is here live to talk about his reactions toward night 2 of WrestleMania and what he mostly got right, and he'll give his feelings on where do we go from here and some, and a man that needs no further introduction, a man that is in our Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and he certainly gives us his real opinions. And I'm speaking with him right now, so I'm just going to go right to the top, right for the juggler, because I'm way behind right now, and introduce the man, because my voice is kind of not so good at the moment. So I'm going to certainly just say, Anthony
Miss,
Steele, Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah.
Are you well? Certainly, LA might not beat C2K. By the way, according to our friends in the IMF, they want to just put it out there that LA might not beat C2K.
Hey, LA Knight beat AJ Styles on the greatest stage of them all.
But
Yeah.
C2K is a 30-plus year veteran, though. I will say he's got the
Lies.
he's a
Lies.
30-year pro and an 8-time Hall of Famer. Just saying, just
Hey,
saying.
but does he have the name that everybody's saying? LA Knight. Yeah.
Well,
No,
I
no, we
do want to
don't.
say hello to my buddy first of all from the Wired Up podcast, Mr. Ace Reed, who has a good comment which I want to bring up here into more serious news, right for the jugular. For sure, I wasn't the only one crying when Cody won. Now, were you crying, Anthony Steele? Something tells me you
I
don't
almost.
necessarily cry.
I almost broke down, man. If he would have mentioned Dusty, oh, dude,
Something
I looked at
tells me
my,
you,
I looked at
Anthony
my roommate.
Steele, you don't shed tears, Anthony Steele. Anthony, the real deal Steele, you definitely don't shed tears. Now, you might make people shed tears when you say things about them, but something tells me that you don't shed tears, Mr. Steele.
Oh, nah. But we'll get to that moment in a few minutes.
Okay,
But
well, let's go then from the beginning. I mean, Cody Rhodes we'll get to, as you pointed out, but Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, and it was rather pretty convincing that Drew McIntyre won.
which I called.
But apparently, Mr. McIntyre had focused his efforts on Mr. Punk, and Mr. Punk sort of had a few things he wanted to say and do to Mr. McIntyre, which brought out Mr. Priest with the briefcase, and he's the one now with the championship on the Raw side. So, how did you like how all of that unfolded?
Let's just go in order. Called it.
Okay.
Called it last night live on Sportswire Radio. Drew McIntyre beats Seth Rollins. Damian Priest cashes in on Drew, wins the championship. I called it. I said
Right.
that was the only thing that makes sense. Now, did I expect Punk to be ringside? No. Did I expect Punk to prove that his arm is good to go and start laying the smackdown on
Well,
Drew McIntyre?
Is
No.
Punk's arm now good to go, you think?
I think it is.
You think it
I think
is?
it is. I think because watching that moment brought me back to it was Raw 2009. Batista, Randy Orton.
Oh,
Batista
yes.
had the same arm, same arm, same thing. Randy Orton played the part where he thought that Batista was still injured. He wasn't going to be able to compete. And Batista took that thing off and clotheslined Randy Orton's head off. Punk did the same thing. He fooled the world at WrestleMania. I and he showed the world that he's fine.
So he wasn't injured all along?
I believe he was injured. I really do believe he was injured. But I believe it wasn't as long as they said there was going to be.
Now, did you catch the comment that Mr. McIntyre had said that if he had not won the match, he would have left WWE? That we're assuming that he's not leaving WWE now then?
See, the way I look at it is it was never meant for Drew to have this title run. It was meant for Drew to win the world championship at Mania in front of a crowd.
Yes, I mean, and before I do anything, I actually want to give a congratulations to Justin Parsley because he is a father once again. He and his significant other, who has actually been on XCW TV, and yes, definitely that news broke a little while ago. I think it broke what, maybe an hour ago, that Justin Parsley is a father once again. So we want to congratulate Justin
Congratulations.
and Amanda. So definitely want to say thank you for reminding us about that, Michael. And I have already sent my congratulations. But yeah, Mania was great. But you can carry on. Obviously, we wanted to, get to that. We want to say hello to our friends in the PWF, maybe a future employer of yours. I mean, James Taylor is apparently on the active roster, but we don't know where James Taylor is since that moment. Kind of when he was announced on the roster is kind of when he had internet issues. So hopefully James is okay and doing well.
I mean, I can bring. I'm sure he would love to come on here, give his opinions about Mania, and probably more. I mean, I can hit him up if you want me to.
Well, let's see how this goes today.
Nah.
Let's talk. Obviously, I messaged Mr. Taylor, so Mr. Taylor will find out one way or the other. But okay. So obviously, Drew and Seth was the way you wanted it. Punk, he was ribbing or maybe playing the internet wrestling crowd, and Priest comes away with this championship, and you like that then?
Oh yeah, I love Damian Priest. I
Okay.
I I literally said he needs to get out of the Judgment Day. He needs a title run. He needs a singles run. Because when he was United States champion, great, great United States champion. Lost to Finn Balor, went into a feud with Finn Balor, lost again,
Well, he said in
and
the
just
press
disappeared.
conference that he's wrestled the most matches on TV in the last year.
In the last year, man.
Most
Last
punches.
year, man. And Damian Priest is a once in a lifetime talent. He's a big man, but he's agile.
How about the story about 10 years ago at this time he was homeless? He went from being homeless to being the world heavyweight champion. That's a story that I think a lot of people can take some solace and motivation. Here was a guy that, again, was down on his luck, and here he is.
I wonder what I'm gonna be doing in 10 years.
Well, I'm
Maybe,
sure I'm sure you'll be in WWE, maybe challenging
yeah,
Damian Priest for the world
yeah,
title.
man. Let
Or
me.
you'll be in PWF, maybe challenging James Taylor in his retirement match.
I would love to retire James, that old
But
greasy
there is
bastard.
PWF. Listen, I mean, I know in PWF there'd definitely be a spot for you. I mean, because I do have a portion of the company, and I'm sure Mr. Black and Mr. GP are watching and listening, and I'm sure that they would love to have Mr. Taylor wrestle actively in the company, and maybe you could be Mr. Taylor's final opponent 10 years from now.
So what did Soldier say last night? Oh, never say never.
Never say never. And then we were talking about booking that match where he wants Taylor first. And then obviously, maybe, you'll cause Taylor the match. And then we'll see Taylor and you one more time because we know it's not going to happen in Tennessee. It's not going to happen in Indiana. It's not going to happen out. Certainly in the PWF, that could be. But, again, so Damian Priest, great story. What do you expect then with the Judgment Day of the future? Now, Rhea and Priest have the titles, but where does that leave Balor and McDonough? And Dom, even?
And uh,
Where does it leave them?
shoo, shoo.
So there is no more
Good.
Judgment Day then,
I see a rift. I see a rift coming.
or the two world champions don't need the Judgment Day anymore.
A rift.
You
That's
could
gonna be
say a
the rift.
rift, or you could just say that they move away from each other, kind of like DX did in the past. Evolution, the strength in numbers isn't there anymore. Technically, you could say.
I see them working a storyline where Dominic Mysterio is trying to, you know, pull his weight as he perceives that he supposedly has there, um, and basically trying to run Judgment Day. But Rhea and Damien are the champs, man. They
And
they
if
run
and if
Monday
you
Night
and if
Raw.
you and if you believe the internet, now again, I say this with asterisks because obviously we cover a lot of things on Sportswire, and I try not to take sides. Damian Priest apparently is a big winner this weekend because inside the ring, he's got the World Heavyweight Championship, and apparently outside the ring, he's going out with a woman named CJ Perry, aka Lana. So apparently, inside and outside the ring, Mr. Priest seems to be doing well in life. But that's if you believe the internet. I always say, I don't know.
I believe it when I see it.
That's what I try to say. But that nothing you would have changed differently. Now, do we expect Punk on Raw tomorrow? We see something with
One hundred
Drew and
percent.
Punk. And we're gonna see.
100%.
And how soon does Punk then wrestle? We're gonna see it in a month from now, or what?
I give it about a week or two, and then we're going to see him do something.
Okay,
I foresee a brawl tomorrow night.
a brawl. Well, he
Either
took.
either a brawl or a challenge. A challenge at Saudi.
Mm,
WrestleMania Backlash in France. I
yeah,
love that they're doing international shows now. It is great. It is great for business. Um,
I'm surprised you haven't been asked to travel from the backyard into overseas countries. We have Ace Reed in Australia. I'm sure that there's other companies that would have loved to have asked you. I'm surprised you haven't gone and traveled overseas yet to wrestle.
could happen.
You never know, but okay. So, anything else you want to add on that particular opener? Yeah, and you like that was a good opener to start the show. And by
That
the
was a
way,
good opener.
did you like Stephanie McMahon coming out to continue the
Oh yeah.
streak, the
Oh yeah.
continuing the streak of a McMahon at every WrestleMania, which I didn't see coming. I didn't realize Stephanie McMahon was actually able to come back into WWE, considering the family problems. So I guess all is well then, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was great to see Steph.
I mean, if you again now, if you're into the internet thing, certainly, many people that were on social media were happy for different reasons. But we are certainly here on Sportswire Radio. We cover things, certainly with a rose-colored lenses there, not like the eclipse coming up tomorrow. But that was obviously good to see. I mean, I'm sure certainly that Mr. Levesque would be a happy man. But that's a different conversation for a different time. So, anything else you want to say toward the Drew Seth Punk situation? Priest, I'm assuming also what happened with Seth in a way intertwining with the main event. He kind of was limping. What is his future?
Taking time off.
Because he was
Fully
limping.
recovered.
He was noticeably limping. Seth, he was noticeably limping. Seth Rollins.
Take time off. Fully heal.
Okay.
Come back. Come back stronger like you did last time.
And I want to say hello too, of course, 'cause it is his show, and he is also a fellow co-owner of the PWF, and then is Mr. Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest, and he's going to be in the ring next month in the IMS Rage in the Cage, and he says first active co-ownership of PWF. I personally extend an invite to the real deal Anthony Steele to the PWF. So how does that sound for you? How do you want to be in the PWF? I mean, James Taylor. We never really knew what James Taylor had to say about that, but what do you say?
We'll see what happens. We'll see if Anthony still graces the PWF screen.
I'm surprised that you weren't asked sooner, but I guess it's a good time to
That's what
ask
I'm
you.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you're kind of a little late on the draw, but uh, we can we'll work something out, Omen.
Okay. Obviously, you've got history with Omen Black. I mean, obviously, he was an opponent of yours last year, just a little over a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. Could be a good way to, certainly heal all wounds. All right, fair enough. Good deal.
Never
Okay,
say
so
never. I
so
mean, that's all I can say right now. Never
well,
say
we
never.
got that out of the way. So we did that. Now the next match was I believe the Philadelphia Street Fight, right?
Philadelphia Street
That
Fight.
was Street Profits against Karrion Cross, and it was Scarlett, and it was I even forget what they were at this point. But now we saw a surprise in Bubba Ray Dudley. Bubba Ray Dudley was back in a WWE ring, this time as a referee. And that was a mild surprise, I would say. But again, Philadelphia, ECW crowd. Bubba Ray, local guy, obviously pretty much New York area, Philadelphia, New York. A lot of people in New York are there in WrestleMania. My brother actually is there as we speak and probably is on his way home if he desires to do that. Or maybe he stays in a hotel, which a lot of people are doing based on the traffic and things like that. But what did you think about the Philadelphia Street Fight? We also got Snoop Dogg on commentary, almost kind of like maybe what we'll see in PWF. Maybe we'll get Sportswire Radio celebrities on commentary. Who knows what? But what did you think about the Philadelphia Street Fight?
Um,
There was that one big
it was-
spot in the match with Montez. That was that one. Remember that one spot where he just jumped up for and he went out and just dived on everybody. That was pretty much the
oh yeah.
big spot.
First of all, night 2 was better than night 1. I'll say that.
Everybody on
Oh.
Facebook is saying that, and our buddy Ron Franklin from Philadelphia called it the best Mania ever. Is it the best Mania ever, or is it the best one night ever?
Best Mania ever.
You agree?
100%.
Okay.
But Philadelphia Street Fight. Well, let's talk about it. Big Street Profits fan, big Bobby fan, big Dudley Boys fan. I love the Dudleys. To see Bubba Ray come home to Philly, come home to his territory, man. You know, it was great. It was great seeing him look at Bobby.
You gave that one
Bobby,
ECW moment, by the way. You gave that ECW through a bone. You had to.
exactly.
Okay. You
Looking at
did
Bobby, tell Bobby, Montez, Angelo,
get the
bring
tables. Although was the
the
table well?
tables.
All right. One question though. Remember the one table that broke? Kind of like
Yeah,
now was that planned or that was just kind of more or less that really wasn't planned? Well, what do you say on that?
it wasn't planned. It was
Okay.
not planned. Um, you can tell it wasn't planned. It was a botch spot, and that's why Montez beat the. I'm going to try to say PG tonight. Beat the dog crap out of carrying
But
cross
we
with that
certainly
kendo
want to make
stick.
sure that on air you're pulling up and or not shutting up on air. We want to make sure that it's supposed to be put up, but you actually.
Oh well then he beat the dog shit out of fucking carrying cross with that kendo stick.
Well, I hope that we can move away from Bobby Lashley and Karrion Cross now because
Please,
I feel like it's like almost been like reruns of Saturday morning cartoons once upon a time. That's what I feel like. How many times we've seen these teams face off? Okay, so Bobby and the Street Profits get this win, but where do they go from here after this? And we'll get to some more comments. Where do they go from here?
Hmm, the same place. Back to Street Profits. Go back to tag team division. Getting those SmackDown Tag Team Championships off of Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, because God knows we don't need them. Um, um, Bobby needs to go. We can see Bobby versus Cody. For the title, we can see
Well,
Bobby go
we'll get to
after.
Cody in a little while. I mean, I don't know if we're going Bobby Cody just yet. I don't know where we're going with Cody. If
We we can do Bobby Logan Paul for the United States Championship, or you can see Bobby in a build up feud. A
how
build up
about
feud.
Bobby and Randy Orton?
I could see that. I would actually love to see that.
How about Bobby and
Uh,
Randy Orton?
100%. I'm down. I think Bobby Lashley is a great talent. Um, Especially for a dude his size. He's very underutilized in WWE right now, and I feel like that WrestleMania moment has brought the world's attention back to what Bobby Lashley and Street Profits are really made of.
Now, I will get to a couple of comments. And first of all, we will have a guest because he's coming on to the show and he's saying hello. And hopefully, he will be kind in his thoughts tonight. I'll say stay tuned for that. Ron Franklin, before I get to him, Omen wants to say, listen, too busy being champion and too busy listening to peasants like you cry while I'm at the top of the mountain. Just kidding. Just busy, but the invite stands, but not forever. So think fast. The biggest botch I ever saw in my life. That was with the table, right? We're talking about the table.
Talking about table spot.
Yep, that was the one. Good call, Ron. Don't worry, Steele. You won't have to be scared of C2K. He won't be in PWF. Why wouldn't you
Never.
want him in PWF? I wouldn't mind seeing C2K in PWF. You and him in PWF. Pull up or shut up. I mean, that could be a rallying cry for a lot of. Remember, that could be a draw. Could be a Facebook stream off that.
Ain't I'm gonna answer it and give my response at the same time. Ain't gonna be scared of C2K. Ain't never been scared of C2K. And if C2K stepped in front of a PWF screen against Anthony Steele will drop him like a
So,
bad habit.
so would you like him in PWF?
Business is business. Do what you
All
got to
right,
do.
so what? Then that's a chance. I mean, never say
Just
never.
don't bring his little tag along.
I'll certainly leave that at that. By the way, quit eating the mic. Pull it away an inch or two. Are you eating the microphone? Is that such a thing?
You mad, Omen? You mad because I can do what I want? Because I can say what I want?
He said no. He said no. All right,
Look, man.
so Philly Street Fight was in a good spot. You were good with that?
It was good. It was good.
Okay.
Um. Also, my respects to Angelo Dawkins' mom, who passed
Yes.
away.
Yes.
Much respect to that. Again, You can ask my old lady. She She knows how big of a Street Profits fan I am. I really, really, really love the Street Profits. Hands down, one of the best tag teams in WWE right now.
Oh,
And
they've been around for a long time. Unsung team. They've been together for, even before COVID. This is a team that's been what you call solid utility players. They've
100%.
always been a solid utility team. And I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Ethan Sorensen. And he says, "How you guys doing today? And how would you rate night one and night two?"
Night 2 was better than Night 1. Night 1 had some good matches. Don't get me wrong. They had some good matches, but they didn't pull up uh
Well, I think
like
night
Night
two.
2.
Night two. Listen, I'm going to talk about LA Knight and AJ Styles. That was good. I thought Bailey's match was pretty good. I thought the Logan Paul KO Randy Orton was good. Obviously, we're going to get to the main event. I mean, you had, I think, one less match right tonight. There's one less match than night one, but still, by
Yep.
and large, you had I think a pretty solid flow tonight. Tonight had a better flow, if that makes sense. I don't know if
100%.
that means anything, but yeah, I mean, I think that most people, Ethan, are going to say night two is better than night one. And what do you think? But I guess let's go. I think the next match was
Um,
LA Knight and AJ Styles, right,
yeah.
Mister? Mister. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah.
So what did? By the way,
Yeah.
Sean Jovi says yeah. Also, by the way, I just want to point that out there. Sean Jovi, the resident rock star, also says yeah. So, but
Yeah.
we love Sean Jovi and we love Anthony Steele. But so what did you think of this match? Now, this was the match I think a lot of people were really excited for in a lot of ways. Maybe this was the match people might have been second most excited for in night two. Obviously, the main event for certainly a lot of reasons. But
Oh yeah.
how did you feel this one lived up to expectations and just
100%.
LA Knight gets the moment that he needed, a much needed victory, and you are team LA Knight all the way. So tell us how happy
100%.
you are being on the LA Knight train.
It it is fantastic, Tom. First of all, to answer Ethan, as C2K would say, Night 2 pulled up and made Night 1 shut up.
Wait to wear that
So
shirt soon. I cannot wait to wear that shirt. We're hoping to put it on with Xavier Thorne, but Mr. Thorne had technical difficulties. Let's just leave it at that.
but LA Knight, AJ Styles told the story. And they told a great story. All the animosity that's been building up for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know, they went out there, had a brawl. They had a brawl and literally had hard hitting maneuvers, good comebacks, good stoppage, everything. They told the story together. They basically, I look at it as a passing the torch kind of thing.
We spoke about that yesterday
Yep.
on the show. We spoke about the fact that this is kind of the
Um,
passing of the torch, and this is the moment, more or less, that LA Knight needs to be solidified as a guy that could be, in the main event picture or just in the outside of it.
Now, my question to you is, do you
Yeah.
think he accomplished that? Do you think LA Knight has accomplished proving himself as a main eventer in WWE?
No.
You don't think so?
AJ Styles, when was the last time he won a big match?
Um, I mean,
The name is great, but when was the last time he won a major match?
you can say that, but also at the same time, you can say, you know, what matches has he had between that?
I would,
When I think of AJ Styles, I look at the Boneyard match with Undertaker.
but that was 4
Undertaker,
years ago.
yeah, for it doesn't matter when you okay, when you look at okay, say LA Knight faced John Cena. If LA Knight beat John Cena on the grandest stage of them all, right there, multi-time world champion, but he hasn't had a WWE title like an epic match like that in 4 years. You gonna say the same thing?
I would say the difference is John Cena is a generational talent that has been on the mountain of. He's in main evented what 10 WrestleManias, 11. I mean, I love
Okay.
AJ Styles, and he's arguably maybe the greatest wrestler in TNA history. But in the WWE side of things, he's not on the same level that John Cena would be. So if LA Knight would beat John Cena, that would mean more than than AJ LA Knight beating AJ Styles.
I mean, I agree with you a little bit, but I disagree at the same time
So tell us why.
because the way I look at it is, just because he what same thing as I said last night, just because he isn't as accomplished in WWE as he was somewhere else, doesn't neglect the superstar he was. You got to think
Oh,
AJ Styles,
I love
W
TK. Absolutely.
W. A lot of people forget WCW. AJ Styles was in WCW.
Literally a cup of
Um,
coffee. Yeah.
um, he appeared in WCW, one of the greatest TNA Impact wrestler of all time.
And had
I
a
will. I
Japan
will.
run, and had a Japan run, by the way, as well.
Oh yeah, great fucking superstar in Japan. Came to WWE, surprised the world in 2016 at the Royal Rumble, entering at number 3. Went on to had a good feud, a great feud with Chris Jericho. Then the feud with Roman Reigns over the WWE Championship. Then beating Dean Ambrose that same year for the
Well,
WWE
they're
Championship.
great things, but I don't think it still compares to John Cena. I mean, John Cena's just on the outside of Mount Rushmore, just on the outside.
Oh, John Cena is the
Well,
Mount
I mean,
Rushmore.
Hogan, Austin, Rock. You put Undertaker over John Cena? He was
No,
here tonight. You don't?
no.
He had a
You
long.
want to hear my Mount Rushmore? You want to hear my actual Mount
You're
Rushmore of
Anthony
WWE?
Steele. What am I going to tell you? No? Go ahead, shoot for it.
John Cena,
Okay.
Undertaker,
Which I said. Okay.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oof.
I no offense, I'll put Savage over Hogan any day.
As a
Um,
now pure wrestling technique, yes. But in terms of if you're counting who's a draw, Hogan was certainly at a
in the
far.
80s.
But even
You
in
gotta look at it
Hogan,
at the 80s, man.
but even in the 90s, WCW,
Mm,
he
mm.
reinvented himself, and also he made a comeback in 2002, 2005, whereas Macho Man's career kind of really petered out after about 1998, 99. We didn't see Macho Man much after that, you know. But I mean, Macho Man's got matches that you probably remember more. Warrior, certainly Steamboat.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Steamboat. I mean, that's a
Um,
match that people will remember 30 years from now. I mean, in terms of what it brought to the table, remember writing every spot down. But I mean, in terms of, you know, Hogan, I think should probably be ahead of Macho Man. But who else on your Mount Rushmore?
so I got Cena, I got Taker. What I do is I pick one from each
Jarrett.
generation. So
Would
80s,
CPK
90s,
be on this
2000.
Mount Rushmore because
No,
he did 33 years?
hell no, hell no.
And
So
Omen
I
Black
do.
echoed my point, by the way.
So 80s, I'd put Macho Man. 90s Taker, 2000s Cena, and then if we're gonna go new generation,
Roman.
Seth.
But I think Roman's but if the drawing is a part of it, I think Roman's a bigger draw.
I Without the bloodline, do you really think, honestly, without the bloodline storyline, do you think Roman would be as hype as he was, as he has been?
But it
With the,
transcended. But it transcended his run.
exactly, but so this is where I'm gonna go with this, and I stick by this statement.
Go
I
for
love
it.
Roman Reigns. I love Roman Reigns.
How could you not?
I think Roman Reigns is a generational talent. He proves why the Samoan dynasty is where it is in WWE. In WWE history
Samoan
alone.
dynasty is the greatest type of any dynasty in any particular sport or wrestling. There's no
Here, I'll
nothing
say
that
this:
compares to that.
The Samoan family is the best wrestling family in the history of wrestling.
It's the best family in athletics, not even wrestling, athletics.
100%. But you gotta think before, like 20. I think it was 2021. 2021, originally where it really all began. You had or we'll even date back to 2020 when it all started. Paul Heyman beside Roman Reigns, so he had a talk. He had a mouthpiece. Um, and then going on to Mania, doing everything that he had there, and then leading into the summer of 2021.
Yep.
Then you had Jey Uso, feuding with Roman, which led into Jey joining Roman, which was the start of the bloodline. Then you had
Correct.
Jimmy coming back. Then you had Jimmy come back,
Hi.
and hello, you had Jimmy come back, who joined his brother, and the bloodline. Then you bring up the way you bring up uh, Solo is at Clash of the Castle
Mm-hmm.
2022.
Mm-hmm.
You had Solo come up there. You brought him through. You gave him a direct spot into the main event scene. Whether he was fighting in the main event or helping, you gave him a main event spot. You gave him attention, basically. And then for I say about another year and a half after that was when you really saw the bloodline take over, and that's when Roman really took off. Once you started seeing the bloodline, forming and all that, is when Roman's stardom really skyrocketed. Because if you actually look at it, the net worth on throughout those years, around the end of 2021 to early 2022, his net worth his net worth skyrocketed.
Network. Well, the network
His
skyrocketed too because obviously they're not going to have the WWE network after December 31st around the world.
yeah,
That's why they're going to Netflix. But before you do anything, I want to get to a bunch of comments, but also say hello to the legendary Nemesis James Taylor, of course, our 2023 Personality of the Year, and also our first member of our fifth class. We had him on to kick things off after the Super Bowl ended in night 1 and night 2, and hope he's doing well. I want to get to a bunch of comments here first of all before I formally introduce the legendary Nemesis James Taylor.
it's
I want
okay.
to
I held it down last night for you.
say hello, our friends to Apache Wrestling. Cody Rhodes' face is always caked up with makeup. That rhymes. Okay. Interesting observation. I appreciate the observation. Somebody in baseball terms has a good eye. When I think of Styles, I don't even think of WWE. TNA was his. Absolutely. He had a plus decade run in TNA. I couldn't agree with you more on that. Objectively speaking, that's an excellent point. Steele didn't put C2K, Loose Cannon, or Silver Wolf on his Rushmore. That's crazy. Yeah, see what I mean? I would have obviously thought that you would have put any of those guys in the Mount Rushmore because they're going to be here April 20th, and maybe we'll put them on the Mount Rushmore for you for your Mount Rushmore. But I'm only kidding. Only kidding. It's a joke. Trying to be laughed. But I have a good question for both of you guys on Ethan Sorensen because he has a good point I want to bring up. I have a question. We'll let James play around with it also. What did you think of Drew McIntyre's entrance in winning the World Heavyweight Championship and then getting cashed in on Damian Priest?
Perfect.
Okay, and tell me why, but and I'll let James give
I
his
made
thoughts on it.
again, like I said earlier, Ethan. You kind of missed it. You came in a little bit after that,
No, he's here now. We
and
want to thank him.
yeah,
We have 27
it
people
is.
watching. Let's say thank you
It
to
is.
the
It
people
is
watching.
perfect. Drew. It gives time. It gives Seth time to take off,
Right.
heal up, fully heal. It gave Drew his mania moment in front of the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
and it gave Damian Priest his call up to the main event scene finally to prove what he's worth. So it all worked out the way one I predicted it last night. Thank you very much. Um, and two, the storyline. No offense, I can't wait to see the storylines that Damian Priest gets put into. 100%. Because I 100%
Okay.
guarantee we're going to see Seth versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that's going to be a banger.
Now, fellow operatives, let's obviously formally say hello to James Taylor. So, what did you think on that, by the way? Did you like the opener in night 2? Did you like how it all unfolded? I mean, what did you think on some of these things, Mr. Taylor, the legendary James Taylor, by the way? But I loved calling you legendary, by the way. Just want to let you know that.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, I loved it. I loved the whole match. I texted Anthony in the middle near the end of that match, and he took him a little bit to respond, I guess, because he was in the mania moment. But if you watch that match,
I
I
was
like
being
to
a
gloat.
mark.
I
Oh,
know, but
really? I didn't know
I
you
like
were a
to
mark.
gloat a little bit about it because that match for some reason made me think of me and him in our second match where there was 5 fucking claymores out of nowhere, it kept kicking out. It made me think of me and
The
him in that
opening
second match in
Claymore. Yep. The
Resurrection.
opening Claymore. Yep.
But I mean, it was great. It was exciting. It was fun. Drew deserved the moment for sure. I, however, did not predict Damien to come out, but the fact that he did was shocking to me because everybody on my social media, especially on TikTok, has been saying Damien's going to cash in on Roman and Cody, and I'm thinking, I mean,
Makes
it
zero
makes sense
sense.
in a way, but oh well. Beside the point, he cashed in on Drew, and that to me um, was crazy. It was shocking, and not only that, the fact that Drew was just dead set looking at CM Punk. And I'm like, that's going to be the feud that everybody wants to see, is Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. And I
We
love that.
we were speaking before, and do you think that CM Punk was faking this injury all along, or what did you think on that? Because Anthony was talking about it. Now that he's good to go, do you think he's good to go, or he's still really injured?
I think he's still injured. And he
Okay.
took it off in the heat of the moment. I still think he's got another month or two. He might very close. There's a good slim chance that he might be wrestling in France at Backlash. Maybe that would
That's
be
what
it.
I said.
But if not there, then it'd be probably the month or so prior, or after. But nonetheless, it's going to be Punk and Drew for sure. And this is going to be a road to WrestleMania for Punk all the way up to next year. I guarantee it. I see Punk, and I'm going to predict it now. Punk's going to win the Royal Rumble next year, and then headline Mania, get his main event that he's always wanted. Whether he wins or loses, I don't know yet. Just depends on the stories. But nonetheless, I'm really pulling for Punk this year.
And what do you think on Seth Rollins? Are we now going to see him exit stage left for a while? What do you think about the former champion?
Me or Steele?
No, well, Steele already answered. I was wondering because you're James Taylor. You have 113,000 followers. I want to know what you want to say. Because, by the way, the Tribal Cheese Logan wanted to say hello to you and remind you that now he's got a clip on TikTok that's going up near your exposure. So he's actually looking for advice on how to deal with the trolls now. He got 77.
Problem.
He got
I'll
like
try.
77 followers in like 15 minutes or something like that on TikTok. Some crazy number. So
That's just the start of it, buddy. Wait till
yeah.
you start getting about 500 within like 2 hours.
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah,
he's gonna be here Friday, so you can
that's
certainly
fine.
talk about it about Mr. Rollins first. Though, what would you
The
like to say?
trolls are fun, but Mr. Rollins, fucking walking emoji, just like Rock says. But I hate his gimmick, but his in ring work is awesome. I love watching him wrestle. Great guy. And I think kind of what he said, yeah, I think he's going to be taking a break probably for a month or two, and then he'll make a comeback out of nowhere. He looked like he got his eye messed up tonight, for one, and his leg from the other night. I don't know if that was just a kayfabe or not, but I know his eye was definitely screwed up. The guy needs a break for a good month or two, and him and Becky, I think, are going to be out for a little bit, and they'll both make a return.
They're gonna be parents.
They're already parents.
No, I mean like they're gonna actually be parents. They're gonna take
Oh,
time
oh,
off and
I was like,
actually
they're already
and
parents.
be
So,
they're gonna spend time with the kid. Seth's been
is
here the whole
any chance?
time.
Are you saying baby number 2 might be on the way?
Who knows? I don't really think so, but
Hey, hey,
um,
maybe the man is looking for a little man. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna move on from that, but I do want to get to Mr. Black, Omen Black, that is, not Mason Black. I was waiting for Stone Cold's glass to break during the main event because I heard from a certain channel that he was gonna be there.
there
Thanks,
we
James.
go.
I lost
There
$50.
we fucking
LOL.
go.
Uh-oh.
You're welcome. I knew that this was going to come because I'm already getting it on my TikTok.
No,
And
I have no idea. What happened here? Am I missing? I'm missing
I've been
something.
predicting that Austin was going to come out, but instead of Austin, it was Taker. Granted, it was great. No, despite everything, this is with me. The main event was amazing. It was great. All of it happened, except instead of Austin, it was Taker, and that's fine. That's
Were you
absolutely
guys
fine.
happy with? Well, were you guys happy with
I
that? I
was
mean,
happy. I was happy with it all. Yes, I wanted Austin to come out. No, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, of course I was. I'm gonna mark out for him. Fuck yeah, I'll say it right here live on the
you can
air.
say whatever you want,
But
James Hill. You know that. You can say whatever you want. You know that.
but the Undertaker comes out. No Austin. There's nothing wrong with that. And I've already had a whole bunch of people trying to poke prod at me. Looks like Taker showed up, not Stone Cold. LOL. Blah blah.
But can't you also say that Taker has a lot of history with The Rock? A lot of history.
Yeah, yeah, but it's 40th anniversary. Why would Taker not make at least a small little appearance? It made sense in a way. In a way, it did.
And he's
I
not.
I
love
was a
every minute
mark.
of it.
And
I
he's
marked
not
out.
had the most WrestleMania appearances, right?
Yeah, and I also predicted that Cena was going to show up as well,
That
and
was a
that
good one.
came
All
true.
right, so you got 1 out of 2. Listen,
I got one out
I
of
used
two.
to play. I used to be a sort of a good baseball player in high school, and from my last I checked, a 500 batting average was pretty good. I mean, that was at least from what I heard when I played baseball. So,
Yeah.
there's a couple things. Let me get to some comments. They take their baby to all their shows, so they are very active parents.
Okay, I will say yes, they're active parents, but when I said that, I meant in a way of they're not traveling, they're not constantly have to work while they're doing it. They can actually sit at home, be a active family, regular family like us. They can actually sit down and actually you know take a breather and not have to work 24/7 because
Well, I
everyone
don't think
knows
they
in
have to
WWE.
work if they wanted that didn't want to. I think based on their, I'm sure.
Oh, they set for life. That
I'm
child is set
sure.
for life.
We were talking off the air yesterday, and you thought I'd be set for life. Them, Mister and Mrs. Rollins, they're definitely way set for life. I still actually do have to work, but I want to work. But it's all good. I gained the experience in watching. Ethan Sorensen says, honestly, Tom, I definitely don't think that WrestleMania 40 needed Stone Cold, John Cena, and The Undertaker and The Rock. It was absolutely perfect the way to end the match between Cody and Roman. So, I mean, I guess we're obviously jumping around, but people want to talk and. What did you guys think on it? How did you like all of it?
I
Was
was a
that
mark. I was a
all right?
mark.
Well, I'm looking at James.
So,
James is giving me something. Almost, I feel like I'm a pitcher in baseball and you're the catcher. I feel like you're giving me the sign. So you see the
I'll
sign,
give you the
James.
floor, James. I'll give you the floor.
me? Okay, okay. Are you asked, so your question is about the main event, right?
Ethan's talking about he didn't feel that it was needed for Stone Cold, Cena, The Undertaker, and The Rock. How did you feel about it?
If there was no bloodline rules, then yeah, I agree. But because of it being what it was and bloodline rules, in a way, it all made sense. Me, yeah, I'm a mark for a lot of the old school guys as well. But the point is, that match was a very emotional match, and true wrestling fans, the ones that are really deep in it and the ones that have the passion for it that I can't stress enough. I mean, oh, he's just a Stone Cold knockoff. I know it's like that catchphrase nowadays on social media with me, but it doesn't matter if it's just Stone Cold. I'm a mark for Triple H as well. And seeing Triple H coming out there and hugging Cody and then seeing Cody hug him really tight because Triple H was saying something to him and seeing all of that, and then Cody doing what he said at the end of that match, the end of the story, where he said he's going to take that title and give it to his mother because he couldn't give it to his father. That touched me, and I'll tell you, grown ass man, going to tell you right now, I cried. I teared
Well,
up.
it's funny you said that because the first comment we got tonight, well, the second actually, is from our buddy Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast. And Ace is a big supporter. By the way, congratulations to Ace. He hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube not too long ago. And he said that, he cried and he thinks that most people cried during that moment. I mean, did you
Most
cry?
people who I cried, yeah, I
I,
tears
I,
were
I did
going in
not.
my life.
I did not, admittedly. I didn't.
It's fine. No, no, no. It's fine. It's a moment, and if you feel that connection, you feel that emotion. And
Sure.
there's very few wrestlers that can pull the emotion out of you, who have that heart. Stone Cold was a big one. That's why he was one of the cream of the crop. Hulk Hogan, John Cena. If you listen to them when they talk on commentary, they always talk about how Cena can always grab that emotion out of the crowd.
I
I
think
mean, it
Ric
really
Flair
was.
was in that territory as well. I think Ric
Flair.
Flair.
And then before his end, Taker for sure. Triple H,
Oh,
Shawn
I
Michaels,
absolutely.
and Cody. I believe is that next generational talent that can do that. And it made me think of me and my career. Yeah, it ain't nothing like his, but the fact
On
of
this platform, it is though. On this platform, it is.
my mom always supported me in wrestling and knew that it was my life and knew that I loved it. And I almost like you put yourself in that wrestler's spot, and it's like if I could, it's like I'm thinking that's me doing that with my mother because my mom seeing me win a world title. That would be an emotional moment, and I felt that for Cody, and he deserved every second of it. And I love it, and it was a great storytelling. I knew he was going to win, and I know that Roman is going to. It literally. I saw a little post right before I came on here. It said, "Thank you, Roman," and I mean, literally, he did a great job. Roman Reigns, he's earned my respect. I mean, not that my respect really means anything, but
You have
I mean,
113,000 followers. I would continue. It does mean something. It does mean something. So go ahead, continue to talk. Don't sell yourself
appreciate
short.
it. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. You're
But
welcome.
yeah, Roman was an excellent heel. He was great at just pissing everybody off, doing what he does, and being the arrogant prick that he is. And his little speech last night at the the press conference when he kicked that reporter out. I'm sure we all saw it. But to see what happened tonight and everything, it was like he gave the keys to Cody and said, "All right, company's on your back now. Ride strong and keep this new era going." I'll tell you one thing that really shook me, not shook me, but like starstruck me in a way, was
Sure.
seeing Stephanie McMahon open the WrestleMania tonight. I
Well,
was
now
like,
that has the streak,
"Oh,
by the way, of a McMahon appearing in every WrestleMania. And, if you were following Twitter, they were going crazy over it because they were, going gaga over her because of,
oh, yeah."
her looks,
Well,
everybody.
yeah, Stephanie, she's fine. She looks great. I was always a Stephanie fan. I love Stephanie McMahon, and I think she's a brilliant mind. And her being married to Triple H, of course, and this being their WrestleMania without you know
Well,
who.
obviously, yeah, obviously, she's one half of
Mhm.
the marriage, so yeah, it's her
Of
WrestleMania
course,
still.
that's the way I see it. Yeah, it's theirs. I mean, yeah, it's the Paul Levesque era. I love it
Yes,
though. I love it.
yes.
And night two to me was the winner of night one and night two. I like night two
Yeah,
tonight
we,
better.
we were we had some of the comments before you came on, and it seems like Ron Franklin thought it was the best WrestleMania. Ethan Sorensen was saying night two over night one, and did you like also when Cody got lifted, where you with Sami Zayn, Randy Orton? It kind of reminded me of WrestleMania 10. Remember WrestleMania 10, where everybody came out when Bret Hart won?
Hmm.
What did you think of that moment where all the good guys came out? Yeah, John Cena was still there, Sami Zayn, Kevin
Hmm.
Owens, LA Knight, and Randy Orton kind of sitting there, and that
Yeah.
was a nice moment with the family. What'd you think of that moment?
Showing all their respect, and it was like a happy ending to that story that was being told. And now I don't know if you saw the press conference just recently, but Cody was
I
just like,
only caught it up to Damian Priest because Anthony was like, "We got to go on the air."
"Oh,
Because
you're fine."
we were supposed to have Xavier Thorne tonight, but he's obviously MIA. So what can you do?
Who cares? But besides the point, Cody said that the previous champion, I guess he was out of respect. He's like he used to say that there's levels to this, and he said with this happening tonight, this is basically Cody leveling up. He just leveled up, and this is a new era, and it's a whole new story now, and it really is. And seeing all those guys come out there and show their respect, Seth shaking his hand and then pointing at each other like that,
CM Punk
that
comes
was
out. You
respect.
see Punk there. Punk and Cena embraced. I mean, that was a hell froze over moment, right? Obviously, Punk and Cena with their history. And Randy Orton's there. They had a nod. And obviously,
Yeah.
Triple H comes out. Bruce Pritchard comes out. Now, if you believe what Ronda Rousey had said on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, you just certainly thought that was not going to happen, but it did. You saw certainly Cody's family, Brandy Rhodes. Nice to see Brandy Rhodes. Brandy looked great, by the way. You got a chance to see Nick Khan was on the screen. So there was a nice moment. I thought that was very well done. I agree with you that it felt, what that felt like? If you're a sports fan, it felt like when a team, if you're a fan and they won a championship. And that's kind of what that was the first time to me. I mean, I know Daniel Bryan had the moment, WrestleMania 20, Eddie Guerrero. I don't want to say the other guy's name, but they had that moment kind of like that. But it did feel like tonight that somebody won like a world championship. That's what it felt like.
Well, just like you said, this is a new era. And if you remember the previous owner who ran all the other WrestleManias, the
Yes, he
reason
did. Yes.
the
Yes.
reason it didn't feel like tonight back then, is because he didn't allow stuff like that. He was so into his kayfabe stuff, understandable,
Well, how about
respectable.
like we even saw, I think in
But
one of the packages, Kenny Omega was shown in the package. How about the
right,
fact we saw Bubba Ray Dudley? I think Bubba Ray Dudley, is he still under contract with Impact? He was here. I mean, you
yeah,
saw Tommy Dreamer was shown in the Hall of Fame, Rob Van Dam. Those guys don't work in WWE. They were shown on TV. That would have happened with that other individual for sure. Never in a million years.
Impact, I think, actually has a little bit of a tie-in though with WWE because
Okay.
if you looked over the past two Rumbles or three Rumbles, they had like
Mickey
Mickey
James,
James.
Jordan Lynn Gray,
Hmm.
sure, sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, I
And
mean,
this,
but you're still seeing the door. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark were at Bloodsport. I mean, you're seeing things that the other owner would certainly not have had before. And, I think that certainly opens up that, we should work more together. We say it all the time here on Sportswire. We want the independent companies and the other yards to work together. And you're seeing the forbidden door open. And Anthony Steele, certainly your forbidden headphones have opened because you put them on your ears and you have certainly a different setup for your mic. And I just, was trying to say hello. And we were talking about the
Hello.
main event. And
I was listening.
what
I
did
had
you
to,
think, by the way? James is doing a great job, by the way. And
Look.
James, by the way, got a new photo on his YouTube page, by the way. He did a new photo, new almost broadcaster-like photo.
You like that?
I did, actually. The
Did you
Tribal
see the
Cheese, I
one I
think.
have on Instagram also? And
I
TikTok?
did see that. Well, the Tribal Cheese, he certainly was, looking at your TikTok because we were talking off the air a few hours ago because he's gotten, like I said, he has one post on TikTok that got like 2 million views or something like that. I said, "Oh, James Taylor, I brought you up," and then we were asking about it, and then it was like now he knows what you go through. So there you go.
There you go.
But what are you eating there, Anthony? Are you eating what are you eating? Yeah, is it pull up or shut up or tell us?
so I catered for Mania tonight.
Oh, you did. You and the missus.
I got Wingstop.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Not crystals though, because James, I don't know if you caught it yesterday. Anthony is testing the waters to see if he would actually want to compete in a competitive eating contest we're having here on Sportswire Radio. And get this, James, you're never gonna believe this. A guy you used to work with very briefly, Alan Michaels, is competing in a competitive eating contest May 24th, 10 p.m. Eastern time, against the guy Big T, who figuratively and literally looks like a Big T. And they're going to compete on who can eat the most Crystal's hamburgers in, I guess, a span of, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I'm going to buy them the box of the hamburgers and they're going to eat it on air. Then the week prior, they're going to have a weigh-in. So Anthony was saying, well, I can eat Crystal's hamburgers, and he's considering entering this contest. And James, Sportswire is the house that you helped build. So you're obviously welcome to be here on May 24th and give some play-by-play and obviously watch an old friend, a guy you used to share a locker room with, Alan Michaels, try to become the first ever Sportswire Radio competitive eating champion.
Well, how about let me be a referee?
James Taylor, you can be anything you want in this. You absolutely can be. If you want to, James Taylor, you are a legend on this platform. So that certainly would be an excellent idea.
James, you know how much I can eat.
But this is Alan Michaels and Big T. Alan Michaels is different, though. He's staying
Alan Michaels, a big boy.
He's big, Alan Michaels. And he's a former football player, by the way, Alan Michaels.
Alan Michaels takes shits as big as Anthony's leg.
We actually kind of joked about that on the show on Friday, but Apache Wrestling wants to say he's eating veggies. Steele is just trying to get a free meal. Are you trying to get a free meal, Anthony? Well, technically you would if you had.
I got money.
No, I understand, but free is free.
I'm trying to watch my diet.
Okay, here you go. I spent $107 on food tonight, so I got money.
That's good. That's good. But did you like Cody Rhodes and how the main event was? Everybody carried him off. Did you like all the run-ins? I mean, were you happy with that, or you would have liked
100%.
100%. Okay. Tell me why.
See, because look, it played every feud. Every feud. You had Roman, Cody.
Yes.
You had Jimmy, Jay.
Yes.
You had Cena, Solo.
Yes.
And then you had The Rock.
And The Undertaker.
Which a lot of people thought was going to be Stone Cold. No offense. I did too. So if y'all going to hate on James.
I think a lot of people did. Everybody.
If you're going to hate on James, I did too. And I was going to mark out once I heard the glass shattering. But when The Undertaker's gong came on, oh, dude. I was more of a mark than when LA Knight won tonight. I'll say that.
I figured you marked out when LA Knight won.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because I looked at my...
Put the glasses on. Put the glasses on. You seen his glasses, Tom?
I did, yes. He showed it to us, I think, on the air. Yes, on the air. We actually...
Because he's got the name that everybody's saying. LA Knight. Yeah.
No, you're supposed to go... I'm going to do whatever I do, blah, 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 and they're going to tell you whose game this is. L.A.
Well, let me ask you guys a question on The Undertaker, right? Because The Undertaker was the one nobody called, right? Everybody thinks that they called these things, and I don't know. I didn't really partake in it because I try to watch it objectively. But will we see more of The Undertaker, or is this just a fun spot to kind of just, put The Rock?
I saw a podcast the other day where Taker was talking,
If you were
And
about to say what I'm thinking, I watched the same podcast.
well, then there you go. So if Tom doesn't know, or the people watching at home don't
I
know,
do not
Taker
know. So
Taker
tell
was
me.
on a podcast, and the guy was talking to him and saying, "Do you ever miss it?" And Taker's all like, "No, not really, no. But sometimes, you might be at an event, and then he's getting that itch. He's had all the surgeries, he's already healed up, and he's got that itch because it's in his blood, and he loves it. And he's looking at his wife. He's like, I'm thinking about doing it again. I'm thinking about making another run.
We watched the
And she's
same
all like, Are
podcast.
you serious? She's like, Are you serious? You just got everything fixed up. You got to risk all that again. And he's like, Yeah, yeah. That's how much he
Yeah.
loves the business.
And then he was like, a month later, he looked at her and was like, you're right.
Yeah.
Dude,
But I
And
think
and
tonight, oh boy, I could tell the look in Taker's eyes when Rock turned around and he hit that choke slam, and I'm just like, I know he felt it. I know
it
he
felt
was
like
like,
1998 all over again between those two. It felt like Sunday Night Heat. It felt like Monday Night Raw. It felt like corporate ministry. It felt like all those great moments. And before we come back to that, I want to say hello to one of my buddies who was up at 5:17 in the morning. And also want to give a big shout out to another one of my buddies who was here. So thank you for this. But 52 people watching us right now. Cody finally finished his story. Wrestling is actually cool again. So Daniel Banner, who is training for Kingdom Wrestling under Sean Only. I want to say hello to one of my buddies, Chris Belcher, who we play all the time on SportsWireRadio.org. He does some work in the sports world. He just had on a really, really big guy in the world for CBS College Sports. He is a great guy, Chris Belcher, and he wants to say that what a night, guys, what a night. So it was definitely a night. And
Amen,
for you guys
amen.
like Daniel Banner and Chris Belcher, what was your favorite moments? What was moments you would have liked to have seen? What was there any moments you didn't like? I mean, was there anything that you felt you would have liked to have seen or didn't see? I mean, I'd be curious. Everybody's saying on Facebook, night 2 was the greatest night. It was the greatest this, but I'd be curious if you're out there and was there something you didn't like, and tell us, is there anything that was
I,
lacking? I mean,
I'll tell you, a match I wasn't interested in until it happened
the Philly
was
street fight.
the street fight with
I
the
wasn't that
Street
into that
Profits and
one
them.
either.
But
Yeah,
when Bubba Ray came out and then they did the whole spot like the Dudleys, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
okay,
that was
this is
fun.
funny.
Snoop
All
Dogg
right.
was on commentary. Yeah, it was, a fun kind of match to
The-
kind of take a break from what we saw in the opener. Typical
Ja-
slotted second match. Yeah, I agree.
James, during that match when Bubba Ray Dudley came out, my girl looked at me. My girl Casey looked at me and she goes, "Who the hell is that?" And I was like, I looked at her. I was like, "You're kidding, right?" She was like, "Was she around? Was he around when I was watching?" I was like, "Oh, 100%." I was like, "He was one of the greatest tag teams of all time."
Miss
And she
Taylor
got
did the same thing.
yeah,
She did the
and she
same.
got,
She's like, "Who the fuck is that?" I was like, "Oh my
I was
god, that's
I
Well,
was
he
like,
Bubba Ray
hasn't been in. Well,
Dudley."
but he hasn't
so,
been in a WWE ring in years.
Yeah, I know,
well,
I know.
I looked at my girl, and it was like clockwork because when right before they went and did the spot with Bubba to Bobby to Montez to Angelo, I looked at her, I gave her a little nudge, and she goes, "What?" I said, "Get the tables," and then they did it, and she goes, "Oh, that's their stick." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it is."
But you know where I died laughing in that match was when they had the first table and it
Oh
broke.
my god, it
Yeah,
broke.
we spoke about that. That was the spot that everybody caught. Let me get to
Oh,
a couple more
uh,
comments. Hold
the
on.
w-
Go ahead. You got the floor. Go ahead.
the one thing that I didn't like about tonight was the ending to the triple threat, to the Randy Logan and Kevin Owens feud.
But you knew that Randy wasn't going to
Well,
eat
no,
pin.
no, no. It wasn't. I knew that Logan was going to win.
You
I
said it
knew it
on
was
the
a,
show
yeah,
yesterday. You said
yeah.
it. We spoke last night.
I said I want Randy, but I know Logan. No, what I'm saying is how they went about it. Is Randy threw Logan out, and then
Right.
Logan stayed on the apron and threw Randy out. And then the way he threw him out, you can tell that it wasn't like forceful, as you were say, to keep him out. And it looked a little sloppy. It looked like a rushed moment.
I agree.
Not
And
like when you
that's
threw Hunter Halkin around the next CW, right?
oh no, no. But like that's probably the only thing tonight, other than the little botches in the Io and Bailey match. But
I was going to ask you guys, and I want to get to a couple comments in a second. I want to say Chris Belcher, we have a podcast of his, the Squared Circle radio show. He sent it to me, and I will make sure to play that tomorrow because we're on the air now. But is Bailey legitimately hurt, or was she working the match?
working the match.
That's sometimes that sell is just so great. They're that good that
That's
you
the
believe it.
that's
But then
the old
again,
Bret Hart. I'm going to sell the knee injury, and I'm not knee injury. Just curious
Did
what
you
your thoughts were.
you saw that suicide dive that she did? That was fire. I never would have thought of seeing Bailey do a suicide dive like that.
other
And
than
oh,
the
dude, when
match
she
was,
did it,
in my opinion, the match started slow, but then when they started doing the counters and you
Second
started
half
seeing
got
towards
hot. Yeah, I
that's when
agree
it
with you
got
on
hot.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
second half got hot.
that's
that
what I
was
was saying
really
last night.
that was kind of emotional to me too because Bailey hasn't held a title since 2021, and then to see her win that title and
And
she
she
definitely
came back
deserved
from a
it.
big injury too. Also, she was out for a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
really, she had to overcome the odds. We were speaking about that after you left the show. Let me get to a couple of comments from my buddy Daniel Banner, who was up at 5:22 a.m. Bailey had a cool new theme, and so did AJ. New era means new looks and new music. Even Stephanie McMahon had some type of new remixed music.
Oh,
Uh,
it was fire.
I knew you would have liked it. Chris Belcher wants to say, I know they saved a lot of interference in Gaga for the main event, but I didn't feel like we got anything super shocking throughout the 2 nights aside from the cash in. Do you agree with that? Was there anything super
We got Snoop Dogg. What do you mean? We
The
got
cash.
hey,
Yeah.
other than
you know
that?
what?
But Snoop Dogg's been in WrestleMania a bunch of
But
times.
exactly, that's the point though. Like you had the Philadelphia Eagle cowgirl. I say the cowgirls because it reminds me of the fucking cowgirls. Um, for those that don't understand that, it's the Dallas Cowboys. Um,
Things about it, and Chris is
but
a
like
football fan, so he'll know.
um, but not like I feel like that's what it was set to be. Was we wanted that hot spot for the main event, where you have John Cena, you have the Undertaker, you have The Rock, you have Cody, you have Roman, you have Seth. The Shield music playing, dude. I'm
All
not
right,
even
when
gonna
the
cap.
Shield music hit, did anybody think it was going to be John Moxley?
Yes, I did. I did. I'll raise my hand right the fuck there because I was like, dude. I was like, you
Dean
gotta be kidding
Ambrose?
me, bro.
I thought it
Oh,
was
dude,
Dean
I
That
was
Ambrose.
was a
like the
good little. Well,
Dean.
then that was a good little kind of okay. Maybe I'm working the crowd a little bit. I mean, obviously Rollins is
Do you,
Shield, but
do you know the? Do you basically know what they did? Do you understand that moment of what happened?
You asking Tom or me? I
I'm
know
asking
it.
both. I'm asking both.
I know it. Yes.
I want to see if y'all got the same answer of what that actually is a representation of.
Okay. So it's a reputation.
Representation.
you need a little
Yeah,
help getting it up.
they're going back to 2015 when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield.
Yes.
They're referencing that whole
They
spot.
get
It's
they
Roman
because
hit
when he
him with
hit
that
them with the
steel chair
chair,
in the back.
it was a
Yeah, I
It
know.
was
representation of
They got
finally
yeah.
having closure. Closure.
Mhm. Got him back.
But bro, if
That's where he messed up though.
one, if I've always said this, if they're gonna bring Ambrose back, bring him as Moxley. We need Moxley in WWE, not Ambrose.
I don't even know. And it's a side point. I don't even know what his value would be going back to WWE at this point.
We can see Roman, Seth, and Dean all at their top, at their peak. One more time.
Yeah, well, I
But are
think
they are they at their peak?
Oh, right now, yeah.
Moxley, Moxley included.
100%,
Okay,
100%.
I gotta ask the
Not
question. I gotta play devil's
because
advocate.
the way I look at it is, all right. So when Moxley left WWE and regained the Moxley name, went to AEW at
Yep.
Double or Nothing, the main event, right after the main event of the first Double or Nothing, um, and going after Kenny, that solidified that we got the real Moxley back. So then he spent all this time. He went to Japan, traveled through the U.S., went to the U.K., went back to GCW, had a couple matches there. You know,
Sure.
it got him back in his groove to
Well, if you
where
listen to Jim Cornette, I mean, he hates John Moxley with a passion. I mean, he
Jim
literally.
Cornette hates a lot of people.
But he really he's on like Vince Russo level right now for him. If you ever listen to what Jim Cornette has to say, Mr. James E. Cornette.
It's because with Jim Cornette, description of wrestling is like 80s, early 90s. He
I think it's
wants
even
that
going
old.
back to more like
Yeah,
70s,
70s.
80s.
He wants old school wrestling, and Moxley
Yeah.
doesn't fit that picture.
No, Moxley is in the vein of ECW, in the vein of, some of the
Big
stuff we
Foley
have, like
area.
Jimmy Controversy and Hardcore, Mikey Anarchy. Obviously guys that you would
Right.
love to wrestle for. But Peter Richards would like to say that it was because Seth said he was going to be
Gonna
Cody's
be Cody's
shield from
shield.
Roman. Good call. Good point.
And that if so when Mox left, that really gave Roman and Seth the time to shine. It proved that they can become, who they were.
Well,
And
Roman especially. I think
yeah,
Roman. We were speaking about Roman, and Roman went from a guy that. I mean, I don't know how the fans would have really, without the bloodline, without all we were speaking about this, where Roman would be. So for sure, Roman benefited by that more so than Seth did. I mean, Seth was already, he had, big moments, but Roman went to the stratosphere. I think we can, agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you guys a question. Obviously, LA Knight we spoke about. LA Knight got a win. Remains to be seen if it's a
yeah.
moment. It remains to be seen if it's a win that solidifies him as a top main eventer. Bailey got the win. We spoke about that. She got the feel good moment. Logan Paul wins. Kind of expected that. Spoke about the Philly street fight. I mean, Cody Rhodes wins though. But where do we go from here? What happens with the Rock and Roman Reigns? What happens with Cody Rhodes now that he's finally completed this story though? I mean, where do we go from there at that?
Cody,
Right?
Rock,
Not
Saudi
yet.
Arabia.
Not yet.
Not yet. Tell me why.
SummerSlam. Rock's gonna go and do some stuff, and then yeah.
I see it happening at Saudi.
No.
I see it happen at Saudi because that gives Roman time to go to lay low for a little bit, build that feud where he lost the championship, therefore he's no longer the tribal chief. Rock comes in, does the storyline where now it's time to prove who the real tribal chief is. He goes to Saudi, faces Cody. Roman costs him the match in Saudi Arabia. Sets
Is it
up for.
accidentally he costs in the match, or is that? But the
He
Rock
doesn't
didn't
accident.
cost. But the Rock didn't cost Roman the match tonight.
But that's in hindsight. The Rock, while Roman leaves, The Rock basically trying to portray himself as a tribal chief is what's going to piss off Roman. Because then Roman's going to want to be out to prove that he is the tribal chief of the Samoan dynasty. Which, no offense, I really 100% say, because we talked about it last night, Rock's in ring shape. He's not like where he was back in late 90s, early 2000s, but
Impossible. Impossible.
but he's in good shape. He's he can he showed again he can work with the newer talent, and I think Roman versus The Rock either at SummerSlam or Mania, because I don't foresee them making us wait till Mania of next year, but I kind of do at the same
Well,
time.
I want to hear what the Nemesis James Taylor has to say because he has a different take, and I like to hear why he has a different take.
Roman's taking his bow out right now, taking his time off. Probably gonna go do a few, maybe a movie. Who knows? Because of
Good
the
call.
Rock. Rock's got a schedule he's got to go to. He's got some things that he's gonna have to do. He mentioned it. He'll be back around SummerSlam, and I guarantee you that's when he's gonna go after Cody. Cody's gonna have the title for a little while. He's gonna go after Cody. And then kind of the same thing of what he said, only not in Saudi. It's going to happen at SummerSlam. It's going to be end up being possibly Rock versus Cody at SummerSlam, and then somehow Roman probably might get involved, setting up the feud
And ain't no
between
probably.
Rock and Roman for Mania next year, because that match will be too big, and that's the match that everybody originally wanted at Mania before the Cody thing. To have it for a non-title and it just be Samoan versus Samoan, that'd be a big match like Cena and Rock won. Same aspect. Only it's going to give Rock to stay the heel mode, and he'll blame Roman on everything because Roman speared him at Mania night one, And Rock never said nothing, but anything can happen. He's got that to say something to. So I
And
think that's going to happen at
uh,
SummerSlam.
does Cody need to beat The Rock?
Cody doesn't need to beat The Rock because what's going to happen is Roman's going to come out and screw Rock out of the title, and then probably do something or Cody. Who knows? We don't know, but I think he's going to do something to screw over um, The Rock out of winning that title at SummerSlam, and that's going to piss The Rock off, and then that's going to lead to them going at it.
And a good point here from Peter Richards, if you're out there and watching on or listening on different social media platforms, that Jacob Fatu, a guy, I actually have a couple of connections with Jacob Fatu because a guy I know somewhat well, Alexander Hammerstone, had a legendary feud with him in MLW, and he is now signed with WWE, new blood for the bloodline. I mean, does that factor into anything with the bloodline or way too soon, right? With Jacob Fatu, what do you guys make of that?
I foresee if they play it correctly, doing like James said, having Rock as the heel and Roman as the face. Doing, I'd probably say they're probably going to bring Jacob in as a heel. I
Obviously.
highly see that. Having Jacob side with Rock, probably have Solo side with The Rock, and then probably what I would do is find a way to connect Jay, Jimmy, Roman all together again. And then probably I'd say Survivor Series War Games. Have like a Samoan combat War Games.
I think Solo is gonna have a big step up because did y'all hear how he was acting in the ring tonight with Roman?
Yeah, he was pushing for Roman to like get on him already, get on him, and he came out there and I mean, he could maybe have a face turn down the road.
Face turn, or he's gonna kind of relive what Roman was doing since Roman's gonna be out and start blaming things on The Rock, and that he's gonna be the. It might be something big where he's gonna say he's
So
gonna be
would
the
Solo be a
tribal chief.
challenger to Cody, kind of as a way to keep Cody occupied? If The
I
Rock's
believe
like
that's gonna be his next person is gonna be Solo. I think that's gonna be his first challenger.
Tama Tonga was one of the OG bosses of the Bullet Club. He could lead the bloodline for a while. I mean, yeah,
I
I
don't see
mean,
it. I don't
okay,
see it.
tell me why.
Even though, yes, you gotta think, you know, Bullet Club. When we talk about Bullet Club, who else do we think? Finn Balor, one of the head guys in
AJ
Bullet Club.
Styles
He's
was
at it.
Bullet Club once
AJ
upon a time.
Styles, Kenny Omega.
Yeah,
Like a
yep.
lot of people see. That's the thing. A lot of people has led the Bullet Club. One guy's led the Bloodline, and that's where I do give Roman his props. Is he was fit to be the leader. He was fit to
So
be
let me ask
the
you guys a
tribal chief.
question. Are we expecting on SmackDown Friday? Are we expecting The Rock and Roman, or where do we go from here with that? No, we say no.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're
Oh yeah.
saying yes. James is saying no. So you
No,
so
I think we're gonna get them tomorrow night on Raw, maybe.
ah.
If not, because the Raw after WrestleMania is always supposed to be a legendary Raw most of the time.
So we're getting everybody tomorrow. We're getting
Right.
Punk. We're getting Drew McIntyre's words. Damian Priest is going to say a few things.
Yep.
Seth is going to be here. We're expecting Bloodline. Cody gets the, I'm sure, close Raw. So you think everybody's going to be here tomorrow? We're not just waiting to Friday.
That's what I believe personally.
Okay.
I mean, it could happen on SmackDown, but the Raw after Mania is always supposed to be a big show and a big event, and I really believe that Cody's going to come out and because he's the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, and why would he not come out on Raw to say something? And why would not The Rock, maybe Roman Reigns, hell, Paul Heyman, say something about it?
Well, I think we're in Philadelphia again, so I would think Heyman's going to be in the house. And if you're in the house, we have 55 people now watching us. James Taylor's on YouTube. Hit that sub button for him. He's got a new photo. He's got some new videos. So make sure you subscribe for more. Taft Taylor. So make sure you follow him. We were plugging Anthony's socials yesterday. I want to plug yours because you're
Yes,
here with
sir.
us. We want to make sure we plug James. James got 70,000+ followers on TikTok. I would put TikTok up, but I still don't have a TikTok account. So I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on it, though. Although Alan Michaels has a clip of me on TikTok on his page with 30,000 views. So maybe I'll just let Alan Michaels run the Sportswire TikTok. But for you, Anthony, we getting everybody tomorrow. We're getting Bloodline. We're getting Drew. We're getting Priest. We're getting
Oh yeah,
Cody tomorrow. So you think we're getting everybody tomorrow?
I foresee it. Definitely Cody. I feel like we're gonna have I'd say within the next couple of weeks, Cody and Damian going face to face. Especially
Um,
because just listen, listen, Tay Tay. All right, calm down. I foresee it because when you look at the storylines, Judgment Day and Cody, Randy, Jay, and Seth inside War Games. You know, I foresee it's the new era, it's the new, you know, generation per se of wrestling, and at that point, noting which we kind of could tell from night one, they're officially separating Raw and SmackDown again, which is good. It's great. That means we actually get like Raw and SmackDown feuds instead of intertwining it all the time. Damian Priest is going to have something to say about Cody being on Raw because Damian is now the representation of Raw. He is the world heavyweight champion, and which is another thing that I marked out for because, side note, I looked at my roommate while we were watching it, and I was like, when right before Drew hit that final claymore for the pin, I was like, Damian's coming out. He's going to cash in. He looks at me dead to my face and he goes, Damian Priest is not coming out. He's not cashing in. Drew's having his moment. Drew hits a claymore, wins the match, celebrates with his wife, all that, talks his shit with Punk, him and Punk getting a little scramble. And as soon as that music hit, I looked at my roommate and I said, I'm waiting. He goes, waiting for what? I was like, for you to tell me I was fucking right. And he looks at me dead to my face. And I think this is the best thing anyone's ever said to me. He goes, you know how wrong I was last night and you were right? He was like, I'm kind of used to it by now.
Well, that's certainly a good way for me to segue that I actually, before we move on to a few final things, I want to officially congratulate Justin Parsley on the birth of his new daughter, Esther. Esther Jane was born here, and she was born at 1:56 p.m. Eastern Time on April 7th. So I want to give a big congratulations to Justin. Justin, XCW Tag Team Championships. He's our third member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and he and obviously his other half, Amanda, are celebrating, and they are doing well. So congratulations to them, and we hope that they are doing well. And obviously the baby is doing well. Justin was here on Wednesday's show when we had a chance to induct and Kurt Acid into our Hall of Fame and honor him on his birthday. Obviously, God rest his soul, Kurt Acid. Anthony said a few nice words about Kurt Acid, which we really, really appreciated. But in the meantime, I hope everybody joins me in again in congratulating Justin Parsley, a very dear friend of ours, and the birth of his new daughter, Esther. So God bless you, Justin. I will make sure that you get a chance to hear this in the morning. So obviously, in the interest of time, I want to ask you guys a couple of more things on tonight. And then I know James might have something he wants to address because I know James had said to me something off the air. So we'll let James have that opportunity maybe to close the show. But for you guys, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up about tonight? Anything that just comes up to mind?
Yes, that I just got sent. Roman Reigns got a Jordan line that I'm now going to be buying.
Are we going to see that in a ring somewhere with you and those Jordans?
I'll do. You can catch me in J's all day. So
well, we're going to see
once I
that in a
find
ring, whether it's in NOCW, whether it's
100%.
in IMF. I mean, whether it's in WCE, whether it's in Triple W, who knows, right? I mean,
Oh, 100%. When
so we're gonna see you in Triple W, 100%. How's a joke?
Um,
Just kidding, just
mm,
kidding. No, but
no, but like 100%. If they, because the way it's looking is they're dropping a whole line because they did a collaboration. It was one you saw. If y'all didn't catch it, I did. He was wearing Jordan boots,
I
Jordan
did see
wrestling
that.
boots.
Yes, I did see that. Yes.
Which I told my girl, I was like, I'm getting some of those. They keep telling me they want me in ring gear, so let me just get those. I can mix my style with professional wrestling style, and but I'm a shoe guy. I'm a sneaker guy,
I
and
know.
now
I've watched.
that
You're a sneaker guy. You're not a wrestling boots guy. You go out there and you know you do it in the
and
sneakers.
now that both of my worlds are like collaborating, might as well spend the money on it because that's my look. That's as people say, that's my shtick. All right.
That's who you
That's your
are. That's why
stick.
you're the real deal, Anthony Steele. And for you, James, is there anything else that you'd like to say about something? Anything else you want to get off your mind before we move on to closing thoughts? I know that you had a couple things you had wanted to address.
Well, I'm kind of in better spirits right now,
Oh,
but at
good.
the
Well, if you're
same
in better
time,
spirits, then let's leave it at that. Because if you're in a good mood, want to keep everybody in a good mood. We're in so all right. So do you have any final thoughts you want to share before, and then we'll get to Anthony? Anything else you want to share in your mind? Anything else that you're working on? Any future shows on the Nemesis sessions? Now, also, I want to repeat it because Anthony. Actually, we're gonna end it on a good note here. Since you're in better spirits, I want to go with this because Anthony and I spoke about this before we left the show that April 25th is coming up, and which means your birthday is coming up, and we're going to celebrate your birthday on the air. And we want to have many Sportswire Radio friends of the show. Now, apparently, Soldier GP and Omen Black have already confirmed to punch their ticket to celebrate your birthday on the air. Anthony Steele has certainly punched his ticket to confirm and celebrate your birthday on the air. And I'm sure many other friends of the show that are friends of yours. Maybe Alan Michaels might want to pop by and say hello. Love Alan Michaels. I know Alan, is a friend, and some other Sportswire Radio favorites might want to come on and wish you a happy birthday. It's a monumental birthday, and we want to have the first ever birthday celebration in Sportswire Radio history. And I couldn't think of a better person than to do that than you, James Taylor. And I'm really looking forward to that. So we announced that on the air yesterday before we signed off. In addition to Anthony, maybe in a competitive eating contest, but you're going to be the referee for now coming up on May 24th, 10 p.m. Eastern time with your old friend Alan Michaels. We're going to celebrate your birthday live on the air at all Sportswire Radio platforms, April 25th. And this is going to be maybe one of the greatest birthday celebrations, I hope, in history. Everybody saw Cody and everybody was embracing him. Everybody came out there. I'm hoping that we'll have a Cody Rhodes-like celebration of your birthday, April 25th. How does that sound?
that'd be great. Only for people that want to come, not people that want to come and try and poke fun, because that's
No.
the shit
Well, Anthony is going to
I'm
be on his
sick
best
of.
behavior. I would imagine Soldier and Omen are going to be okay. I would think. Alan Michaels would be a good name to have for the birthday. Shane Davidson, Armageddon. Is he Armageddon Shane Davidson these days? I forget what his name is, but those guys might want to come, I'm sure. And some other Sportswire Radio favorites. Maybe Sean Jovi, the resident rock star, Nicholas Crenson, friends of yours, friends. We want to make sure it's friends that are here. So I just wanted to put that out there. So hopefully, we'll have a nice celebration, and
Appreciate
that's
it.
kind of just of it. I mean,
That's gonna be a monumental day. It's gonna be a great day for sure.
every day is a great day. In my opinion, every day above ground's a great day, but especially April 25th, that's going to be a great day because we get to celebrate your birthday on the air live on Sportswire Radio. So I'm really excited about that. Is there any final thoughts you want to share before I get to Anthony?
So I'm going to be posting an update video on my TikTok because I've already got a lot of people that are fans of me on there, only on TikTok because they don't follow me anywhere else. Already asking me about, since Austin didn't show up, what do you think is going to happen next? Basically, what we've covered a little bit tonight, and I'm going to be posting a video about that here soon. I might do it before I go to bed. Who knows? Post that, and then on my Instagram, I'm going to be posting all of my future career updates. So look forward to some gym and workout videos coming up. Something new that I'm touching into because I've been hitting the gym a lot and I've been on my strict diet. And the only sugar intake I've been having is when I go to Starbucks. Other than that, I've had nothing, and it's
Killing you. Tough.
It's killing me, but at the same time, it's for a good cause. And I'm just get ready, get ready because this year is going to be a fun year for everybody. And yes, 18 days. I'm going to be turning the big 40, but that's just a number, Tom. That's just a number.
Age is just a number. Listen, I mean, we saw The Rock. We spoke about him. The shape he's in. Taker looks great. I mean, LA Knight's 41. I mean, AJ Styles. To me, age is just a number. It's about how you feel inside. And, thank you for doing it for a good cause. On my radio station, the couple of guys are actually doing something for Parkinson's, which is obviously a really, terrible thing. And they're actually out there raising money for that. So I wanted to thank them. The Pinstripe Chronicles, the Talking Rivals, and the Upper Deck podcast on our internet radio station, the link below. And the eating contest is May 24th, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So that's where the eating contest will be. And you can follow James Taylor, Taft _Taylor on Instagram. Check him out also, especially on TikTok, where he's got millions of views, nearly hundreds of thousands of followers. And you want to make sure you keep up to date with all the great things he's doing, whether it's videos, whether it's wrestling, whatever it might be. That's where you can get your one-stop source, operatives of James Taylor information. And also April 25th, mark your calendar, 10 o'clock Eastern time, the James Taylor birthday celebration. So
I just marked it on my calendar.
Good.
You
So
wanna
I'm
know
making
I got you there, buddy.
Want to know a fun WWE fact about a legend that's really great?
Yeah, absolutely.
On my 18th birthday, April 25th, 2002,
Hogan won the title, right?
Randy Orton debuted on WWE SmackDown.
I was close. I was close. Now, was that on a dark match?
No, he had his match with Bob Holly. So Hardcore Holly.
Was that early in the year? Why did I keep thinking he was a few months later, Randy Orton? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
Randy
good one.
Orton, look it up. April 25th,
I'm gonna
2002.
look that
I
up.
turned 18 that day, and I wrestled that day as well. So
Well, you know what? And we're dropping information like it's just almost like there's no tomorrow. Anthony Steele, the real deal. We're going to certainly give some real deal like closing thoughts from you before we sign off for the evening. And I want to turn it over to you. And anything else you want to plug, share, or say before we say sayonara? And I pull up your Instagram. I'm going to let people obviously see where you are on Instagram in a second. So the floor is yours, Anthony. Fire away.
We'll see. When we think of Mania, we think about, it's the grandest stage of them all.
Yes.
Where anything can happen. That's where the magic happens. And, watching the historic reign of Roman Reigns finally come to an end tonight is, it was legendary. It was a legendary moment in wrestling history. Everyone kept saying, "Oh, he's going to beat Hogan's record. He's going to beat Hogan's record."
Hillbilly Tilly was on the show saying that he thinks he has a very good shot. Now I thought Roman was going to win tonight. I still thought he was going to win.
Hey, Hillbilly, don't take offense when I say this. You were wrong, and I told you.
Well, I'll try to still sign you anyway.
It'll be all right. But this is what's great about wrestling is you can always expect the unexpected, and even more that you don't expect is possible to happen. Like I said, Undertaker coming out, WrestleMania 40. This is his show. This was his show, and nothing can take away from that. So sitting here and watching it, living it, we can finally say that WrestleMania 40 is in the books. It is a star-studded event for the past 2 nights. We saw ups, we saw downs, we saw in the middles, and we saw outrageous moments. And that's what's great about the art of professional wrestling.
Spoken like a broadcaster, Anthony. Maybe you're going into broadcasting. Have you been taking broadcasting lessons? Are you going to broadcasting school? Is that what it sounds like these days?
Well, also I'm about to start streaming. So
that's probably why. Hopefully Sportzwire is giving you plenty of practice over the past year and change. I mean, I know you do on Instagram, but hopefully we'll get some of our followers to come on to watch you and everybody else on Instagram. And speaking of people that are coming on the show next Monday, the CCW Underground World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Jam Dog himself, is going to be here live, and I always love having Jam Dog. By the way, Jam Dog is a fellow Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. He is in the Hall of Fame alongside you guys, and he wants to say, I hope that you all enjoyed WrestleMania. Yeah, WrestleMania was fun. I had a great time, and he's up at 5:50 a.m. talking to us. So I love when I get my people from the UK and other places around the world that tune into Sportswire Radio because they are also like us about all wrestling matters. And CCW has led the charge in that. Jam Dog had a phenomenal match with Prince Dagan a couple of weeks ago at Miners Mania 3. It was a killer match, killer main event, kind of like what Cody did tonight. And I think Jam Dog kind of led the charge for that. But I'm going to talk about that with Jam next Monday. But in the meantime, if you want to follow Anthony Steele, that is his social media on Instagram. James Taylor, you can follow him at Taft Taylor on YouTube, Taft_Taylor on Instagram. TikTok, check him out also at Taft Taylor. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. If you are on Sportswire Radio, I'm going to be back here Tuesday night with the Bitcoin billionaire Chase Wakefield, who apparently has a big announcement. He has a big announcement that could be even a bigger announcement than when Anthony Steele comes on here, or James Taylor, or Omen Black, or Soldier GP, or Atomic Titan even, or anybody else that comes on. So he's promising something big. I have no idea what it is, but he's going to be here probably between 9:30 and 10, and I'll be here after Monday Night Raw tonight, which will now be officially here in New York and elsewhere, to find out what happens after Raw. But until then, thank you everybody here for tuning in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one collaboration that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. Enjoy the fallout from WrestleMania. It's one for the ages. We recapped it, and maybe Xavier Thorne will be back later this week because Xavier Thorne kind of basically went MIA. So hopefully I get Xavier Thorne, but we'll talk about that at a different time.